this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder the Capital One bank guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also talk about how most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Brought to you by the reinvented 2012 Camry. It's ready. Are you? Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Josh. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Okay, I'm all right. I know for a fact that you are fully aware of the $700 billion bailout, so don't say you're not.
The what? The $7 bailout?
The $70 bailout.
If only.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you are aware. Okay, good.
Sure, I'm somewhat politically inclined.
That's good. So, I was watching an unnamed TV cable news network, which is called CNN.
Sure.
An unnamed one.
Right.
And basically, I was watching just coverage of this bailout, what it means, all this. I'm hooked on the bailout, okay?
Right.
If you haven't figured it out by now, I eat information up.
Right. You should get a T-shirt. I'm hooked on the bailout.
I'm hooked on Kashkari.
Right.
Yeah. So there's this one commentator, this one pundit was saying, "So long, free market." And I was thinking, you're stupid. You're a stupid person because we don't have a free market. Did you know that?
Well, of course I do. We never had a truly free market. Well, maybe early on.
Yeah, in the early heady salad days.
We were trading corn.
America, yeah, and whiskey.
Right, or bracelets and trinkets for large tracts of land.
Or hemp. That was a big one early on.
Sure.
Yeah, so, I'm glad to hear you say that. I find it refreshing. Most people, when you say what kind of economy does the United States have, they say it's a free market economy.
Right.
And that's just false. And let's talk about why it's false.
Let's do it.
I think we should. So basically how about this? Let's describe a free market economy under the capitalist system, and then we can say this is why the U.S. doesn't have one of those.
Okay.
All right. So you know who the father of capitalism was, right?
Yes, Charles Darwin.
Darwin. Yes.
No, sorry.
Terrible. Adam Smith.
Right.
Economist extraordinaire, and this guy was working from nothing. Right. This is all just out of this guy's head. He was good.
Right.
Lady.
What year was this?
He actually wrote The Wealth of Nations in 1776.
Yeah, that's
so it can't. Yeah, exactly. So the U.S. is like, what kind of economy should we have? And
right.
What are they doing over in Scotland? They heard about this Adam Smith fellow. They brought him over, bought him dinner, and he told them everything they needed to know. And it's a great theory. Capitalism, in theory, is great.
Right.
Okay. So basically, when you have a bunch of people that have a bunch of products,
mm-hmm.
the supply outpaces demand.
Right.
Prices come down.
Exactly.
It protects just the average consumer like that. When when demand is high and supply is kind of low, then companies are protected, and it's this constant swing back and forth.
Exactly.
Between protection for consumers and protection for producers.
Right. It's a system checks and balances.
It is, and ultimately, whichever one is benefiting at any given point in time, everybody benefits.
Right.
Because if you have demand high, then you have companies who are just working away at making their stuff.
Jobs are up, production is up.
Exactly. And another point I made in this article is that these companies pay taxes. So indirectly, even people who can't get employment are being helped through government-funded, taxpayer-funded social programs.
Right.
So everybody's doing really well under capitalism.
Employees are probably paid even more too.
Yeah.
When demand is high.
Yeah. Now there's some natural checks and balances that are built into the capitalist system. Like for instance, capitalism kind of demands that companies keep wages low. You're trying to maximize profits because capitalism fosters competition, right? You got a lot of people out there competing for that consumer dollar. That you want to compete and you want to keep your business efficient and trim.
Right.
One way to do that is to pay low wages.
As low as you can get people to work for.
Right. But Smith pointed out that if you pay people slightly higher wages, they're going to be able to, and this is so 18th century, they're going to be able to feed themselves better, and thus they'll be sturdier and be able to work harder, and all of a sudden you're more efficient. You can extrapolate that into other terms. A better paid employee should be, theoretically, a happier employee who will work more, be more productive, that kind of thing.
Right. I've seen that firsthand, actually, as a quick aside. I worked at Stowe Mountain Park here in the great state of Georgia for many years. We had a laser show, still do. And I sold, as I think you know, the glow-in-the-dark necklaces.
I had no idea.
I did. I did that for 5 summers, man. And the guy, it actually wasn't a park employee job. It was a private contractor that did this, and he paid us on commission. He paid these 16, 17-year-old kids on commission, and man, I made more money then than I do now.
You're kidding.
Well, if you factor in bills and things, absolutely.
You must have been quite a hustler.
And yeah, but that's the long story short is we all worked our butts off to sell as many as these things we could for this guy because we made more money.
Right.
And in the meantime, the park employees were schlepping popcorn and candy and stuff. They were off sneaking behind the bushes and smoking cigarettes and making out and stuff.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Nah, they didn't care because they were getting
like
paid
a government
minimum wage.
employee.
Exactly.
Which kind of brings us to our point down the road, which actually we shouldn't get to quite yet because we're not done talking about capitalism.
Okay, back to capitalism.
Let's put that segue off and we'll pick it up later.
Hey everybody, get this. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals and 130 million decision makers. And that's where it stands apart from other ad buys.
Yeah, for sure. You can target your buyers by job title, industry, company, role, seniority, skills, even company revenue, so you can stop wasting budget on the wrong audience.
Yep, that's why LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B ROAS of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
And get this, if you spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn ads, you get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Yeah?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so this is all bright, shiny capitalism, right? The problem is when you factor in like the competition and the competitiveness, you actually come up with a survival of the fittest scenario.
Darwin, I told you he factored in.
Exactly. He's not the father of capitalism, but man, is he ever important.
Yeah.
So you get all these companies competing, and then there's this thing called a correction.
Right.
We know and love it as the word recession.
Right.
Okay? And all a recession is a decline in productivity. And the reason these declines happen is because you have too many poorly managed companies. Uh-huh. You have too many bad investments, so I don't know, like a mortgage-backed security or something like that.
Right.
You have all these things basically gumming up the works, and they actually drag the market down. When the market goes into recession, these poorly managed companies and bad investments can't survive.
Right, exactly.
So they actually slough off. It's kind of like a recession to capitalism is like a forest fire to the woods.
Right.
You've got this raging fire that burns out all the undergrowth. It gets rid of pests and diseases and pestilence and all that. And then the only thing left standing are these huge old trees that are allowed to flourish and grow.
Exactly.
And then eventually the cycle begins again. The undergrowth comes back,
right.
And so the pests and disease.
Sort of like what we've seen with the internet, actually. The big internet boom that, everyone and their brother started a website, a startup in the 90s. And same thing happened there. The giants like the Amazon.coms, they stuck around. and all the other ones fell away. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a self-correcting thing too.
Right. That's the same thing. The reason that giants like Amazon.com stuck around was because they proved their worth to the economy.
Right.
They provided a valuable service
A
that
good
the
business
consumers judged, hey, we like this, we want this, we're going to give it our money, so Amazon survived.
Exactly.
Other ones, they were bad ideas. For better
Right.
or worse, they didn't appeal to people, so they fell away.
Right.
That's exactly what we're going through right now is a recession.
This makes me think a recession is actually kind of cool.
It is. It's a very natural component of capitalism. Here's the thing. Capitalism in the United States, it doesn't have the full faith of the U.S. government.
Right.
Normally, when we hit a recession, the government goes into socialist mode. We start buying stakes in companies and start, flooding the market with all sorts of money and adjusting interest rates, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So here's where we enter how the U.S. is not a capitalist free market economy.
Right. I love the examples you used in this article too, because I don't think many people would ever think of these as bucking capitalism in the free market, but it's exactly what it's done.
Yeah, well, the obvious one is the SEC.
Yeah, the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yeah, and basically they watch the stock market. And the reason the SEC exists, and I say in the article, the only reason why, or the very fact that the SEC exists, it shows that capitalism in America isn't based on a free market economy.
Exactly.
But the reason the SEC exists is because in the U.S. for 100 or 200 years almost, this capitalist economy eventually devolved into its worst form of itself.
Right.
You had like robber barons that were, as Ayn Rand, the novelist, capitalist novelist, would argue, these titans of industry helped build modern America and modern America's economy. Uh-huh. But as somebody who was maybe, happy with labor, on the side of labor, would say, yes, they did, but they built it through the direction of the suffering working class.
Right, on the backs of the working class.
Exactly. So you've got two sides of the same coin, and ultimately, if you look at the federal government's track record, they usually side on, the suffering, alleviating suffering of the working classes.
Right.
They're like, thank you very much, robber baron, for endowing this entire city, but we're going to have to step in. And they have. Right. The Securities and Exchange Commission was a big one. What else is there?
I know another one was the government getting involved in big companies like Carnegie Steel and Standard Oil and the railroads, Union Pacific Railroad, mm-hmm. and big major corporations that all of a sudden the government was putting their finger in their pie and saying, you guys got a little too much power. We need to step in and kind of regulate you a little bit.
Yeah, because that competition from 100-plus years of unregulated capitalism led to some really nefarious business practices, like corporations saying that they had saying to their investors that they'd made $17 billion, or back then $17 million in
right.
profits, but turned around to the government and called for, wrote off $11 million in losses,
right.
things like that. So
right.
you create the SEC.
Or monopolies.
Monopolies were the first one. Like you said, the railroads and steel companies and all that, they had too much power, and they were all basically running the show in their industry. If you wanted steel, you had to go to this one company. If you wanted oil, you had to go to this one company.
Right.
So they could set whatever prices they want. And really the first appearance of government regulation into the free market was the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890,
yeah.
1890?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good enough. But that was hardly the end. You've got food packagers.
Right. The FDA in itself is sort of the same thing.
Well, big time. I mean, really, under a free market system, somebody should be able to put as many, rat excrements as possible.
A million excretion.
Yeah. You and I know that there is a very finite amount that can be allowed in there.
Sure.
So the FDA regulates business. It interferes with the free market.
Right.
The same thing with the Federal Trade Commission. They were actually created to encourage competition among corporations and prevent monopolies.
Right.
Like that's pretty much their sole reason for existing.
Right. Even the very idea of setting a minimum wage is the government getting involved.
It's huge
in the business.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, it took a lot of labor strikes, a lot of violent clashes with police. The anarchists were coming up for a little while there. And basically, ultimately, government fell on the side of the people. If you really look at again, the federal government's track record over the last 100 or so years, they've ultimately sided with the people.
Right. I encourage you to look at the record, my friends.
Yeah,
That's
the record's out there. I mean, it's in the faces of the happy employees at the FTC and the FDA and the SEC. You go look those people in the eye, and you can think the government cares about me.
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
So what do we have though? If it's not a free market, what would you call it?
I would call it a managed economy, and I wouldn't be the only one to call it that.
Okay, you didn't come up with that term?
I didn't. It's a managed economy is basically what we have. You have like a free market, but then there's some government regulation and oversight, and
hopefully in all the right places.
Yeah. So the next time somebody asks you what kind of economy does the United States have, don't say free market.
Don't say cruddy.
You say we have a managed economy.
Right.
And if they want to know what you're talking about, tell them to go type in, is a free market free if it's regulated on HowStuffWorks.com.
And then punch him in the head.
Exactly. And stick around to find out where Chuck got his current gambling problem. But first...
Hey everybody, get this. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals and 130 million decision makers. And that's where it stands apart from other ad buys.
Yeah, for sure. You can target your buyers by job title, industry, company, role, seniority, skills, even company revenue, so you can stop wasting budget on the wrong audience.
Yep, that's why LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B ROAS of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
And get this, if you spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads, you get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. Coldwater Creek's authenticity is embodied in every piece, embracing its confident spirit that carries through to today. Discover Coldwater Creek clothing, designed to fit your life the way you want. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
So, Chuck, where'd your gambling problem come from? I've seen you. I made like $150 off you during this podcast.
Right.
Where's it from?
Well, as you know, Josh, I have the Jimmy legs. I have the jumpy legs. I have, I think the technical term is RLS, restless leg syndrome.
That is the technical
I'm kicking you as we speak.
I know.
The podcast.
It hurts, but $150 is it goes a long way to easing the pain.
Well, Josh, I have this malady, and I'm on some medication to help control my Jimmy legs. Mm-hmm. And that medication has a side effect, and one of them is compulsive activity like gambling.
Yeah.
So I had the Jimmy legs, and next thing you know, I'm like heading out to the Cherokee, North Carolina every weekend to gamble.
That's great. Well, if I had a kid, I'd say you're putting it through college. What's this medication?
Well, I can't divulge the name on the air, but it's cured my Jimmy legs, but now I'm way in the hole.
That's great.
In the casinos.
Well, thank you, Big Pharma. I'm going to go spend this $150 on scratch-off tickets.
Right, and you can read actually about this in a very cool article called "The Top 10 Weirdest Side Effects of Drugs That You Can Take to Make You Feel Better."
Also known as Top 10 Weird Prescription Drug Side Effects. You can find that on HowStuffWorks.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com. Let us know what you think. Send an email to podcast@HowStuffWorks.com. Brought to you by the reinvented 2012 Camry. It's ready. Are you?
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. Coldwater Creek's authenticity is embodied in every piece, embracing its confident spirit that carries through to today. Discover Coldwater Creek clothing, designed to fit your life the way you want. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Ever feel like your bedroom's shrinking? Don't worry, you don't have to sell your favorite things to make space. With IKEA Bedroom Storage Solutions, think dressers, wardrobes, full closet systems, even storage boxes. You can keep it all. Your vintage band tees? Safe. Those limited edition sneakers? Plenty of room. And yes, your childhood teddy bear gets a spot too. Don't sell what you love. Store it instead with IKEA Bedroom Storage Solutions. Shop now at ikea.us/bedroom storage.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.